welcome back to my channel. Today I am making good on my promise 6 weeks ago on Instagram to do a Q&A with John.
Hey guys.
So I'm gonna have to go back through my phone and find all the questions because it was in August that I asked you guys for these questions. But before I get into today's video, I wanted to thank Verb Energy for sponsoring today's video. So Verb energy bars are convenient little energy bars with only 90 calories each, and they contain as much caffeine as an espresso, but they are made with green tea caffeine, so you do not get the coffee jitters. Right now they just came out with a new flavor, red velvet, and I know that coming up soon they will have their peppermint mocha flavor, which is one of my absolute favorites. I'm pretty sure pumpkin spice latte is sold out. I may have had something to do with that personally in our own house, but I'm going to ask John to taste test. I pulled 3 out of our pantry. So I have vanilla latte, chocolate peanut butter cup, and then their limited edition cookie butter. And I want you to taste one of each and tell me what you think.
Okay. All right. I'll start with...
You've never had one, right?
I have not.
I eat all of them.
I have not had the pleasure of having a Verb energy bar.
All right.
Though I could benefit
Don't
personally.
eat the whole thing, because if you eat 3 of them, you are gonna be like, you're just gonna like...
I'm gonna answer all the questions.
You're just gonna like...
All right, this one is cookie butter.
Over. Okay, sorry. Our dog heard us opening the package, and now he is stoked on Verb bars too.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so I'm gonna try to hold
cookie butter.
What do we think of cookie butter?
I had a bite already, but I need to try it again. I like it.
Good.
I like the consistency.
just try them all and tell me which one's your favorite.
I like cookie butter. I drink a lot of coffee in the afternoon, so I get the crash pretty hard. Vanilla latte.
Those are like one of my favorites. That's my favorite flavor that they have year round. My sister got me hooked on these when I visited her in Detroit in the spring.
I feel like I need a palate cleanser though.
Or just spit.
Do they have espresso in them or like some kind of
No, it's only made out of green tea caffeine.
I like that one a lot. Cookie butter is pretty good, but I like vanilla latte better.
I'm excited about the red velvet.
Chocolate peanut butter cup.
I think you're gonna like this one the most.
All right.
This is not for you, my dude. What's
That's
your favorite?
Good. Vanilla latte.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah.
Okay, good
That's
job.
good.
So from now until the end of the month, you can get a Verb Energy starter pack for only $10. That is over 60% off, and it comes with 1 12-count pack of your choice and then 3 additional samples in the mail. So I will put that link down below. Thank you, Verb Energy, for sponsoring today's video. I'm gonna go hide these from my dog now, and we will be right back for the questions. Okay, so before I give John the first question, I want to say happy birthday because his birthday is Wednesday the 13th, the day this video goes up. Coincidentally, it's my birthday, the day that we're filming this video, but that will be long past by the time that I...
So happy birthday to Abby too.
Happy birthday to us. We're birthday buddies. It makes things way less awkward when we go out to celebrate and people like come to our table with a cake. Although I will say, do you remember the first year that I met his parents? His parents took us out together for our birthday, and the restaurant brought us 1 single cake for both of us. And do you remember that older couple who came over and was like, twins? Do you remember that? And they like turned to your mom and dad and they were like, good job, you guys. And we were just like, I was mortified. I think it was my 16th or 17th birthday.
I don't remember.
And I was just sitting there like on fire, like, no.
People have always said that we look alike though.
Yeah, well, and especially like pre-4 children for me, I was at the beach with you all the time and we were both like blonde and tan and young and free. Anyway, okay, so tons of questions, most of them really directed at you, so I'm gonna try to not talk until you get the chance to answer.
And I'm gonna try to not be long-winded.
We did have a conversation about that before.
It's hard because I sort through my thoughts as I'm talking.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
and I don't give him the questions beforehand. We're both long-winded, so. Okay, so
Which is ironic because we're always exhausted anyway.
We exhaust ourselves is what it is. Okay, question number 1. Any tips for dads after a long day of work coming home to kids? I'm told that it's absolutely exhausting.
Yeah. So up until recently, or really only recently, our business has had the opportunity to get planted at an office, and I really think that has been vital for me coming home with my focus recentered on Jesus and on being an active parent and husband at the house. It was so hard for me to not have the tendency to carry work home. So I think Abby's always told me, like, listen, if you need to, go take a lap around the block, or when you get home, stay in your truck for 10 minutes or so and just check everything that's going on and leave it before you come inside. Because I would feel guilty if I didn't come home right away after work, or didn't, you know what I'm saying. But so I would say that the best piece of advice that I would say is, see, this is me sorting through my thoughts as I talk.
I think
the best thing I can offer and say is, take the time before you come home to yield your spirit to the Lord and yield whatever's gone. It's just like when you go into a church service and you recognize that, like, whatever, it's been a hectic week, and you have this quiet time and you're going to yield whatever's happened during the week to the Lord and let him work. It's the same thing before you enter your house.
Yeah, exactly. Like it feels like you're wasting 20 minutes, or you're like stealing 20 minutes from me to sit out in the driveway. But what it really does is it gives us all of you when you walk in the door, and that's very valuable. So yeah, before he and his dad are partners. They own 2 businesses together, and before they bought their own office space, they worked at a collaborative office space, which meant that they had to keep most of their stuff in their truck with them throughout the day because there was no storage for their stuff or their laptops or anything. And now they have a place they can keep it at the office, which isn't everybody's situation.
Yeah, not everyone has that luxury.
Right. So just sitting in your truck in the driveway, letting the day go.
Yeah. Totally.
It has made a huge difference for the kids and I, because it feels different when he comes home.
And one other thing, something that's practical, is prepare tomorrow before you get home. So I line up my schedule for the next day at the office or in my truck before I go inside and engage. Because what I'll do, if I don't do that, I'll be texting with employees, or sorting out my thoughts for tomorrow while I'm at home. And then I'm completely disengaged.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think that's easy to just get distracted with responsibilities. Next question. Have you ever switched churches? If so, how did you find a new one?
Yeah. So, I guess we could say we can speak from the perspective of living in a small town. So not everyone lives in a small town. So we sort of have had the opportunity to visit all of the churches in our town, growing up in different ones, and then, so yeah, we switched churches during COVID, and it was a God thing, like we knew that for the small fellowship we were in, Bella really she was going into youth, and we really wanted her to have that time put in through people who were specifically ministering to youth. And so we plugged into a church where we had friends and people that we knew who went there, and we were really comfortable in the setting. We just got plugged in. I think a lot of it is trying to find, like, what makes it difficult is when you have like the perfect idea of a church in mind, and so then you have this perfect setup of what you want and what you're looking for, which realistically, you're never going to find that. So yeah, we switched churches, and it was relatively easy integrating into the church, but I would say mostly because we were somewhat comfortable with the people we knew there.
Yeah, we already kind of had connection there, so it almost feels like we just didn't skip a beat. At the same time, it was kind of funny because when we had decided that we wanted to get into like a traditional church setting instead of a fellowship group, we were in just a fellowship group for almost 10 years.
Right.
So it was during COVID, so everything was shut down. And so we were like, well, it was when you could only watch church on TV, which in Florida was just like 8 weeks. We didn't shut down very long here as far as churches go. But we were like, okay, well, we can watch this church at this service and then this church at this service. And then next week we'll like try 2 more churches online. Like you could kind of like church hop from your couch. And the very first one was the one that we had kind of considered at other times throughout the years. So it was actually one that we had attended for a few weeks before we found this fellowship group 10 years ago, right, when the kids were babies. And so we had only gone there for a few weeks, but so we kind of knew the church's core values. So we turned the TV on, and the message he was speaking exactly spoke to the situation that we were feeling released from kind of at our old church. And it was just like, we didn't even try anything else. We were just like, we called them Monday when their office opened, and we were like, when are you opening your doors again? When is the children's program starting again? Like we were like, we want to get in the doors as soon as you open the doors. It was just so perfect. So we're very happy there now. Yeah. And really
I just say God will lead and direct, you know, and he'll give you desires for a reason. So if you have the desire to possibly go to another church, I don't think it's, you know, wrong for you to explore that. Yeah. You know?
And just being like really connected on the decision making and surrendering that whole process to the Lord, because it will be discouraging. I remember before we found the fellowship group we were in for years, we did church hop a lot. I hadn't really thought about that until just now. And we were super discouraged because it was just like we were missing community. We were like missing good, you know, preaching. And this time it was just more of like an act of submission, like, okay, Lord, like, you will lead us to the right church, but until then, like, you know, we're gonna take up our responsibility to continue to instruct our kids, to continue to read our Bibles, to continue to maintain our ministry to our family first, and not expecting a church to fill that void for us. And so I think that's one of the reasons that we kind of slipped in so effortlessly, because we weren't looking for a church to like meet our needs. Why are you laughing?
Because I wasn't going to touch on this because I thought it was long-winded, but you just dove in.
I am
so you opened the door.
I'm sorry.
100% spot on. I think it was so easy for us to integrate back into a large church because the fellowship kind of had to redirect our focus on the Lord being the one to meet our needs and not the church body.
Right.
And so where a lot of people get discouraged and hurt in church is when they're looking to people to meet specific needs in regards to feeling comfortable or accepted or loved or seen in a church. Once you know that that's the Lord's position in your life and not the church, it's really easy to get plugged in and serve anywhere.
Right. Yeah, I was listening to this book called After Doubt by AJ Swoboda. Did you read that one?
I've only gotten a little bit into it.
But you're listening to it. He talks in that book about the church. Instead of casting stones at the church, as Christians, we should act as like a spiritual immune system and behave in ways that will naturally encourage and edify other members of the church body instead of looking for the right church or judging, you know, the body of Christ, just like, you know, almost like being a witness to your fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. And so with that mentality, you know, you're always going to find a place where there are problems or conflict or you disagree with like some things. But I just think like if you have that mindset of like, you know, we're all the church, then you can find a place that will just support your family, encourage you, equip you to continue to be the church throughout your week. So, okay, how do you resolve conflict? John, how do you resolve conflict?
I am like...
I don't have an answer for this, really.
To be honest, like, I think a lot of it, I don't know, how deep are we trying to get here? I tend to always go like too deep. Like someone's like, yeah, do you really like Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches? And I tell you like the spiritual meaning behind why I love Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches. But like, I'll just be real. The household I was raised in, you know, my parents would even admit that there was a dysfunctional relationship. And so it was really hard growing up because I felt like I was always on the verge of the next argument being the end of my parents' marriage. So, you know, that kind of was ingrained in me as a kid growing up relationally, now being married, any argument that we have, I just feel like I want it resolved immediately before it lingers. I don't want it to linger. I don't ever want it to linger. And I feel like part of that could have been fear-based, but I think like God has used it in my life to, I'm very quick, and I hope Abby would recognize, I'm very quick to either apologize when I'm wrong, or find resolve, even though there may not, she needs to kind of stew and like sort out how I just reacted. I immediately want to resolve the situation. And I would say, so my answer would be, that's how I do it, but my answer would be is to just really get rid of pride and understand that marriage is always for the other person. And so that's what love is. Love's not self-seeking. So it's not about me being right in the situation or my point being proven, but me looking out for the well-being of Abby or my spouse. And I'm not perfect, no way, but if I'm honest, at the end of the day, most of unresolved situations happen because one person's not willing to bow down.
Right, exactly. I feel the exact same way. It's mostly that.
It's mostly her.
Yeah, it's mostly me. That's just prideful. I think there's like a few things that we've learned, especially in recent years, as far as like not just resolving conflict, but presenting it, or sorry, the dog just walked in, it confused, but like preventing it, there we go. Not like out of like a fear of like, oh, I need to prevent conflict, but just in having a healthy relationship. Spiritually, a few things that I feel like we've learned. One is not relying on the other person to meet your needs. Like you can be fully content in Christ, whether or not you get somebody on the same page as you. Two, being 100% sacrificial love and not 50%. That sounds so churchy, but like just being willing to like really lay down your life for Christ, and in doing so you're going to naturally do that for others. And so because your spouse is your first ministry, that's going to happen. And then three, something that I've learned, because he is actually really careful to ever like hurt my feelings, and I can tell sometimes, like, I know that I'm like bothering him, but he won't say it. It's just giving somebody a place to speak into your life, and not being so, what's the word I'm going for? Just like not being so hard to get to. So like being like, hey, you know, is there anything that's bothering you, or anything that we need to pray through together? Or like, is there something that you're seeing, or is there a way I'm behaving that's, you know, offensive? Or, you know, it's the Bible verse, like, search my heart. Is there any offensive way in me? Like, saying that to your spouse and giving them a place to speak into your life. And a lot of times, first of all, if you're in a Christian marriage, most often want the best for you. And so anything that they want to, you know, speak to or edify, like, it's for your own good too. It's not just because it's offending them, but it's because they see that it's going to like end disastrously for you. And also, you know, you should want that edification for yourself. Like, I don't want, and I wrote this on Instagram the other day about like when I had a bad day with the kids, and I was like, I don't want you to just tell me like it's okay, stop the day. Like, I want you to remind me that like serving our family in this road that we're traveling, like, it's tough, but sometimes it's tough to be obedient. Sometimes it's easy to be obedient to Christ, because I don't want to be affirmed in my desire to just give into my emotions versus like being edified. But you have to kind of have the right heart posture to receive it. And so, you know, just having those conversations before there's conflict, you know, because
and having patience, knowing that good communication takes time.
Yeah.
And we've been married 13 years, and we're learning how to communicate well still.
Yeah. Because life continues to present new challenges that you have to learn to communicate through.
Yeah.
I mean, like, once you master, I feel like one thing, something else comes up. Do you feel like you answered? Can I move on to
Yeah, you can move on, because I can just keep going.
Okay. So there's like 4 of the same question, which is like, do you do Bible study together? What books do you guys read together? How do you start a Bible study together, etc.? Do you guys read your Bibles together?
So for a while, we were in a habit of at night reading through the 5 love languages.
Yeah, and the love language devotional.
And, you know, we were consistent for a short while, but I feel like we've had a lot of things that have like intruded on a consistent schedule in our house, which I know everyone does, but like my job transition, we had some personal stuff going on in our family, and just a lot that affected our routine that we had as a family. So as of late, no, we are not doing a study together. I feel like in the morning time, it's important for both of us to spend time in the Word separately together.
Yeah, like we'll be sitting together, but like not reading together, or we like
or
share
have coffee together. Or it seems like every Sunday we tend to have like these super deep conversations after church, like we did today, and just spend time. And then next thing you know, it ends up being like a really awesome conversation or like counseling session. But so yeah, I would just say I think the best time, especially if you have children, is in the evening time, right before bed, or in the early morning time.
Yeah.
And also have grace on it. Like, dude, it's not, sometimes it's not, everyone struggles with consistency when you are a parent to young children, especially multiple children.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's ever going to be perfect.
Right, because I would say like I read the Bible in the morning, but then like the more like, you know, in-depth like books or sermons that I read or listen to, it's in the afternoon during the kids' quiet time, which is like the right in the middle of your work day. And then, yeah, so.
One thing too, sorry, you finished?
No, yeah.
Is Abby's asked me all the time if there was anything throughout my day that I listened to or read that filled me spiritually. And that really, I love when she asks me that, especially when it catches me off guard.
I'm not meaning to do that.
No, I love it though, because it does. It really keeps me alert and aware and in check. Like, yo, like what are you devoting your time to in your spare time? Or being intentional with the time that I have.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to kind of stay in communication.
I'll just say like, what encouraged you today?
Yeah.
And then he'll text me consistently. I feel like it's on purpose. Like when you know it's like the worst time of day with the kids, and you'll be like, I'm praying for you that you would yield to the Lord and allow Him to work through you with the kids. And I'm always like, why do you text that at this time every day? Like the worst. Like I'm about to lose my mind. But like, thanks, babe. Every time. All right. So next question.
Oh, Yana, hit me with a verb.
Oh my gosh, Brizzo. Okay, I'm looking through, I was trying to like switch gears to like a fun, but they're all very like deep questions.
It's good questions.
They're good questions, but there's not like a what's your favorite color? So.
Baby blue.
Okay.
North Carolina Tar Heel blue. It's my favorite blue. It is. UNC blue.
Wait, do you like them though?
No, I don't like the Tar Heels.
I thought you like specifically didn't like them.
I don't. I just like the blue.
That is weird that you just used that reference. Okay. Okay, here's kind of a fun one. As of right now, what do you think your kid's future career path will be? Bella,
veterinarian.
100%. I don't see anything other than that.
And Jesse, I don't know. It's like he has this I don't know what word I'm looking for here. He has this, it's part of his personality to be like the protector. And so a lot of times Abby believes he's going to be geared more toward like law enforcement or military.
I do. I don't.
And he may. Yeah, he may. And Eli. Pray for Eli. I don't know. Dude, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like
he's young.
he's 7.
He's so young. He's gonna be a YouTube star.
He's gonna be.
And Annabeth? Oh man. Annabeth.
She wants to be a police officer, if you were to ask her right now, and she is a boss.
Last week she wanted to be a cookie maker though.
That's right.
So.
She always says like something during the day and something at night too. Like I want to be a police officer during the day and a singer at night. Like cause
that was Bella too. She wanted to be a vet and then a ballerina.
Oh, that's true.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do believe that Bella is set on becoming some form of a animal doctor or veterinarian or whatnot. And
something with animal science.
Jesse's something to do with protecting people. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta pick something for Eli though.
Andy's
too young. Andy's 4. I can't even.
Eli really likes the water. He likes fishing.
Right.
He loves swimming. I mean,
he loves the beach.
Yeah, maybe he'll be like a marine biologist.
No. Eli is really like freakishly good at golf for being 7
really
years
is.
old. I actually think he might be a golf pro, like
That'd be awesome.
what is it called? Like not the pro, it's like a junior pro or something. What is like the assistant pro or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I think he might do something with golf because even in the middle of the Florida heat summer, he'll like stand out there and just be so energized. Like sometimes during the day if they're like playing outside, it'll be like so hot, and then he can play golf in the middle of the day in the total heat and he'll be like, Mommy, did you see that stone? And he's like a different kid all day, and I'm just like, here, call grandma and tell her about golf, because he'll just talk about golf all day. So he did 2 week-long golf camps this summer too, one in Florida and one in North Carolina. I think he never got sick of it.
Maybe he'll do something with it. That'd be awesome.
I think maybe there's something there for Eli.
There's good scholarships for golf.
It's the first thing I've ever seen him like care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is, how do you view your role in home education? That's a good question.
This is a good question because I feel like it's been a journey.
Yeah.
We just talked about this.
We did.
So like, yeah, I feel that for a long time, I've always, ever since Abby started before she started homeschooling, I've talked about this before, I think in videos, where I had this, what's it called? A predetermined outlook? Preconceived notion, or like a picture of what a homeschool kid looked like already. And it was pretty judgmental, but like I assumed they were like not socialized, and you know, I was afraid of our kids becoming that. So
coincidentally, that's like exactly what we want for our kids.
Yeah.
I was just kidding.
Well,
but like we were like young and cool and social, and then we were like, oh,
right.
Those things would be so bad. And now I'm like, I would love for my kids to be sheltered. And
right. So then over time, as I saw what homeschooling was and what it looked like for our family and our community, I grew to love it because our kids have a lot of opportunity for different forms of schooling, you know, like the way that they do poetry tea time, or nature study, or grouping with their friends, and like a form of recess for them is one of their friends who's good at a specific sport leading an activity, like, or the opportunity for the kids as they grow up to apprentice me or someone else in the contracting trade. To have the time to do that is awesome. So I've always loved homeschooling, but I always felt like I would leave it to Abby, right? Like I use the excuse as like I trusted her, but I think up until recently I realized that I kind of, by doing that, was leaving her alone in it, to deal with the good parts of schooling, and also the structured kind of dealing with the consequences of kids not wanting to abide by what she had set in place. So yeah, up until recently I've realized that like my place in it, I need to have a strong position in regards to schooling and the kids' education and what's going on in our house. Otherwise, it's kind of one of those things where the kids over time may view Abby in a bitter light by having to wear both hats in schooling. And I mean that as being mom and being the one who disciplines in school. You know, and I do understand that the mom is with them the majority of the day, or dad, whoever's homeschooling. But the other parent does have, and now I really see has a vital role in supporting and being involved in knowing what's going on in schooling for your kids, so they see you two as a unit together in it. You know, we just had a conversation with our older two, about their maturity level and their responsibilities in regards to chores around the house and schooling. And it kind of clicked for me because they responded so well to the conversation. I led the conversation and showed that I really care about how they're doing in school and what's going on around the house when I'm not here. So yeah, I think that I've learned over time that it is an excuse to leave it all up to her, and it's kind of unfair to her, and I do have a vital role to play.
It's funny because we make a lot of decisions together. Like, okay, like I kind of want to do this, and I think maybe we'll sign them up for these lessons. Like, we make the decisions together, but for some reason, we've just never been in the habit of like communicating those together to the kids. Like, it's been me, or like, you know what I mean? It's very strange how we've never like done that for some reason.
I think it's too like how you fill your time.
Yeah.
Like when I get home, like if I in the past I see certain things are taken care of and I have time to do something of my own, I'm going to engage in my own thing, and it's about what I'm treating as really a priority.
Yeah, and he's always stepped in when there are fires. Like, I will text him sometimes and be like, I'm really gonna need you to talk to so-and-so at the end of today. They're just being really disrespectful or something like that. He'll always come in and speak to them. But like, I think the conversation you were referencing that we recently had is just how powerful your word is with them, with an expectation. Like, you know, hey guys, when I come home, I'm like really excited to see how far you've caught up on your math. Like, just one word, and it changes, you know, the way that they prioritize things, and just knowing that we're on the same page instead of just waiting for something to go wrong for dad to step in. Just kind of knowing like, this is actually ultimately like, this is dad's decision for our family. Like, he's feeling the conviction for our family to homeschool, and I'm carrying it out as, you know, his helpmeet, and then you guys are to be obedient. That's your only role right now, you know. So just kind of like that, this is actually dad, even though I'm the one doing it. Like, this is dad's leadership for our family. So just kind of having those conversations and like showing the kids instead of just us having the conversations and then not carrying it out with the kids. One other thing I've mentioned on YouTube before, as far as your role in education, because I think, you know, it is like, whoever the homeschooling parent is does run the risk of just running themselves into the ground. We've found it really, really beneficial for him to, like, instead of trying to teach a subject, because I think for years we're like, hey, maybe you can do science at bedtime or something. We've discovered that it's just most helpful if you help with the maintenance of our home in free time versus with an actual subject, because the subjects, we're in a flow, we're in a rhythm here at the house, and I can easily get through it. It's more so like, then I miss the dishes, then I miss the this, then I miss the that. And so just having like a night a week where we grill, or, you know, if you make sure that you, like, the kids are picking up their rooms by the end of the night. So it's just taking that off my plate to give me more of a time to focus on homeschool. So as far as like teaching subjects or involvement in the actual schoolwork, we've seen the benefit of him physically being involved elsewhere in our home to then free up my time. Okay, I can tell already that this is good, based on the fact that our dog has shredded an entire toy over here, that it's gonna be a long video.
That was a 12-minute answer.
I'm sorry. I was like, I'm not gonna answer.
Not just you, it's me too.
I don't know how to not.
This is good content.
I don't know how to not say these things.
This is good content.
You're doing good.
I know.
Okay, I'm gonna just pick one more here so it's not so long.
Okay.
What do date nights look like now that the kids are a little older?
It's funny.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, the battery's dying. So.
Okay, so date nights. Thankfully, Abby's parents live nearby, and so does my dad. So we've been able to kind of set a specific night, Wednesday night, as our date night. And it looks like the kids go into her parents' house early on in the evening, late afternoon. And when I get home from work, we chill out for a little bit, get ready, and we'll try to be intentional and go to like one of our favorite restaurants.
Sometimes we want to just stay home though.
Sometimes
a
it's
couple nights a month we'll be
Netflix and chill.
Like, hi, I just really don't feel like doing my hair tonight, or if he's like, I've had a really long day, you want to order in?
Yeah.
So it's just.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna not talk. I'm letting you answer.
What? I don't care.
I've talked more than half of this video. I don't know.
I have too. But so I think it's just date nights now look like we have more time to be intentional, especially since the kids are older. That was the question. So yeah, just being more intentional now that we have more time.
Coincidentally, now that the kids have gotten older, our time, like, even though it's easier to like drop them with a babysitter or something, it's gotten more difficult to find time for each other because we're running all over. The kids are involved with so many things, and so we have always prioritized date night. That's the one thing. If I'm gonna be like proud of one thing in our marriage, we have always had a consistent night of the week where we're either watching a movie or we're like getting a candy bar from the gas station. Somebody's at the house watching the kids, and we're just like, it is our night.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been consistent because his work schedule in the past was really crazy.
Right.
But now it's important to prioritize that night for us each week because we literally don't get to talk sometimes during the week if it wasn't for Wednesday nights.
Right.
So just my heart it like sustains me to know that I have that time coming up, so I don't panic and like, blah, 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 here's everything going on in my heart and in my life and da-da-da if he's like fatigued from a long day of work, and vice versa, because we know we have Wednesday. And that definitely like sustains us throughout the week. So
yeah, so most of the time I would say it's going out to eat, or we're also fun. Yeah, and like we'll go out on an airboat, you know, where I feel like we'll have the desire to.
It is.
Or like, yeah, we just go out to eat. I just like.
That's it. We don't really watch TV enough to find cool shows, so we'll think we've like found an absolute gem, and then we'll go to talk to our friends about it, and they're like, yeah, that's from 2006, and we're like, huh, it is? Well, it's really good.
Yeah. We're so not that boring, I promise.
It's like I'm on the spot, so now I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, like we're down.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the coolest. The coolest.
All right, next question.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for all these questions. Thanks for watching today's Q&A. If you have more questions for John, leave them in the comments down below, and I will allow him to answer them instead of me giving 50% of the answers. I'm sorry I'm long-winded. Thank you, Verb Energy, for sponsoring today's video. The link for that is down in the description box below, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Happy birthday, John.
Bye, thanks.